Somewhere around the year 58 BC, a Roman soldier picked up his sword and marched to war. He fought in Gaul, he fought in Spain, he fought in Britain, and then, nearly 400 years later, his unit was still fighting. No, this isn't mythology. No fantasy, no legend. This is the Ninth Legion, one of Rome's most elite fighting forces, and their story is one of the strangest mysteries in all of human history. To understand what makes the Ninth Legion so remarkable, you need to understand what a Roman legion was. A legion wasn't just an army unit. It was a living institution, roughly 5,000 soldiers who trained together, ate together, and bled together. They built roads, fortresses, and cities wherever they went. The Ninth Legion, officially called Legio IX Hispana, was first recorded fighting in 90 BC, during the Social War, when Rome's Italian allies turned against it. Then came Julius Caesar. When Caesar became governor of Gaul around 58 BC, he brought 6 legions with him, and the ninth was one of them. They crossed rivers, fought through forests, and pushed Rome's borders further than anyone had dared before. They were tough, disciplined, unbreakable. So, when Caesar needed someone to hold the line, he called the ninth. After Caesar's death, the Ninth Legion kept fighting, now under the first emperor, Augustus. They were sent to Hispania, modern-day Spain, to crush the Cantabrian tribes in one of Rome's most brutal frontier wars. It was so grueling, Augustus himself had to take command. The campaign lasted 6 years. That's where they earned their surname, Hispana, the Spanish Legion. Decades later, Emperor Claudius launched the invasion of Britain in 43 AD, and the Ninth were among the 4 legions chosen to lead it. Britain was dangerous, the locals were fierce, the weather was brutal. The terrain was nothing like the open plains of Europe. But the Ninth held the north. They built a fortress at a place called Iberacum, which we now call York. For decades, they were the wall between Roman Britain and the wild tribes of Scotland. Then came Boudica. In 60 AD, the queen of the Iceni tribe launched a rebellion that nearly destroyed Roman Britain. She burned 3 cities to the ground, including Londinium, which we now call London. The Ninth Legion rode out to stop her. They didn't make it far. Boudica's forces outnumbered them massively. The Romans were ambushed in open terrain, their tight formations useless against the chaos. Thousands of soldiers from the Ninth were slaughtered. The commander barely escaped with his cavalry. For most legions, this would have been the end. But the Ninth Legion was rebuilt, reinforced, and sent back into the field, because Rome didn't abandon its soldiers, and its soldiers didn't abandon Rome. In 108 AD, the Ninth Legion left one final mark on the historical record, an inscription on a building in York. And then, nothing. No battle record, no retirement notice, no mention in any letter, any census, any military report. 5,000 soldiers, their horses, their equipment, their entire support network, gone. For nearly 2,000 years, historians have asked, what happened to the Ninth Legion? The most popular theory, made famous by a 1945 novel called The Eagle of the Ninth, said they marched into Scotland and were wiped out by the Caledonian tribes. It's a dramatic story, the kind that makes great movies. In fact, it did make a movie in 2011. There's just one problem. It's probably not true. In the 1990s, archaeologists digging in Nijmegen, Netherlands, found something remarkable: Roman military tiles stamped with the mark of Legio IX Hispana, dated to around 120 AD, after they supposedly vanished in Britain. Which means the Ninth hadn't been destroyed in Scotland. They had been transferred, moved to the Rhine frontier in Germany to deal with new threats. Some historians now believe the Ninth was eventually sent east, to the Middle East, where a massive Jewish revolt was tearing the region apart in the 130s AD. A revolt so devastating that another Roman legion, the 22nd, also disappeared from the records during the same conflict. The Ninth may have been destroyed there, far from Britain, far from Scotland, in the sands of Judea. Or they may have been quietly disbanded, merged into other units, their name erased from history, for reasons we may never fully understand. Here's what we know for certain. From 90 BC to at least 120 AD, over 200 years, the Ninth Legion fought, bled, rebuilt, and fought again. They survived civil wars, a near massacre in Britain, mutinies, emperor after emperor. They crossed seas, marched through snow, and built a city that still exists today, York, England. And then, without warning, they were simply gone. No grave, no final battle, no last stand recorded in any document. Just silence. The Ninth Legion fought for Rome for over 200 years. And Rome never even bothered to write down how they died. Maybe that's the most Roman thing about them. If you want to know which ancient civilization was even more advanced than Rome, and why history forgot about them completely, that video is right here. See you there.